I'm going to show you how to make a garland of paper stars to decorate your house or tree for Christmas. These are just the right size for a very small mini Christmas tree, but they also look lovely on a big full-size Christmas tree. You'll just have to make an awful lot of stars. Here's what you'll need to make them. You'll need a book, and this is a great way to recycle a damaged book or a book that you found especially boring. You'll need some thread. This is about 1 millimetre thick. You'll also need a ruler, some scissors, a craft knife, and a couple of needles. I've got 2 needles that I'm using. One is a tapestry needle with a big fat eye so I can put my thread through it, and the other one is an old sewing machine needle, and I'll be using this one to make holes in the stars. Mousy pincushion is optional. Start by ripping out a few pages of the book. It's normally very wrong to deface a book, but because we're making these into pretty stars, it's acceptable. I'm taking off the white border because I prefer my stars to have the type showing. And then, using a cutting guide or a ruler, measure out 1/2-inch strips and cut down the length of the page. Keep going until you've got a big pile of strips. And then it's time to make the stars. Take the top of the strip and tuck it around the back, and then bring it back up through the front and tuck the end into the loop you've made. And as you pull it tight, you should make a roughly equally sided pentagon shape. Fold the tail over the bottom to leave a little triangle poking out at the top. Turn it over and fold again, and the triangle should appear at the other end. Keep wrapping, following the edges of the pentagon shape. Wrap all the way around until you're left with a little tail, and tuck it into the triangular pocket you can see left. If the tail's a little bit too long, you can rip a bit off and tuck it in. You don't want a really short tail though, or it might pop out when you make the star. Keep making little pentagons until you've got a bucket load. Now it's time to make some stars. To form the star, take one of the pentagons and gently squeeze either side of a corner to make a little point. Repeat this pinching action until you've squeezed out all 5 points of the star, and that's it. If it's a little bit wonky or lopsided, just turn the star over and squeeze it from the other side. You get extra points if you manage to get an interesting word in the centre of your star. Now to thread them up. This is where my 2 needles are really useful. This first needle is a tapestry needle, and it's got a big wide eye for taking embroidery threads or wools through it. It's the right size for me to try and thread my thick gold thread through. This one is a sewing machine needle. The fat end usually sits inside the sewing machine, and in this case it's going to be the thing that makes the holes nice and wide so I can pull the thread through. Take your threaded needle and find one of the flat sides without an overlap of paper on your star. Take the sewing machine needle and pop it through and push it all the way through out the other side, and it should want to come out of the point of the star. Take your tapestry needle and thread, pull it through all the way to the bottom. I forgot to tie a knot at the end of my thread. This knot will hold it in place. Pull the star all the way down and make a little loop at the top of the star. Take your threaded needle, pass it through this loop, and this will make another knot that holds the star in place. And that's your star attached. Leave a gap of a couple of fingers and make another small loop. Take your threaded needle, pass it through that hole again, and this will become the knot that holds the next star in place. Take your next star, pass the sewing machine needle all the way through to make a hole, stab the mouse, and take the threaded needle through the hole to add your next star. And that's the process. Keep repeating until you have made a garland full of stars. I like to have all my paper strips cut and then sit and put a Christmassy film on and then squeeze out some stars. I hope you enjoy making this festive garland. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more creative makes.